Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Wednesday, the 3rd of May. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, on the shorter time frames, it looks like we've had a massive move on the euro this morning. We're relatively, well, it's probably about a quarter to a third of yesterday's range. What's it looking like at the moment? We're just continuing to chop at the moment from a daily perspective. Yesterday ended up having a rally towards the end of the European session. We still haven't pulled back towards that daily 8. I'd like to see it come at least back to that now. Possibly today could be setting up for it, but whenever we get quite a reasonable move through the Asian session, it seems to be a slowish morning. But there is a lot of data coming out today. I'll talk about, well, may as well talk about it now. We've got the construction PMI coming out for the UK this morning. That's not a great mover. In general, it does create a bit of volatility, but it's not the biggest of movers in the market. But then we've got the ADP non-farm data coming out at 1:15, the ISM non-manufacturing figures, which is basically the services figures, coming out at 3 p.m. in the US later, which can be quite a mover. And then, of course, we've got the FOMC statement, which is the big one. We've got crude oil inventories in between, I should say, which will affect you if you're trading the Canadian dollar, most likely. But then the real one for today, I said the big one for today, I should say, is the FOMC statement, which is due at 7 p.m. Not expected to see any changes, but may see some volatility, particularly around the statement when analysts look through the changes in the statement there. Okay, so I'll go back and carry on looking at these charts here. So we've just clipped the daily pivot for the euro here. If we see this continued sell point, I would be looking for a retracement to sell into down towards the S1, maybe yesterday's lows, weekly pivot there, and potentially, if it was to get a decent roll on, I'd like to see it run back towards that hourly 200, which is the daily 8 roughly. So it would be good to see. It would be good if I'm short in the position to see that happen, but we'll see how it rolls. Any bounce off here? Well, we could set up for a bit of a bounce. Any solid bounce off here could take us back up towards the prior highs there from last week in the R1. So fully aware of that. May find some support, but possibly the markets don't like Le Pen's recent statement this morning suggesting that her countrymen would be carrying francs instead of the euros in their pockets within 2 years if she gets elected. So, well, we'll see. But that probably hasn't gone down brilliantly well. Okay, cable. Let's have a look at cable and look at where we are here. Again, it's had really quite a large, sizable move relative to the previous few days there already, and we're not into the London session here, which is often a bit of a staller. It's already just clipped its daily 8 by looks like yesterday. It's got the potential if it sells beyond that and breaks that level to head down towards that monthly pivot. I'm surprised of the robustness of the pound in a sense, with not only the elections going on and the uncertainty sitting around that, but the more recent comments regarding the bigger bill, Brexit exit bill, of something over 110 billion rather. Cool. Nearly did a complete mistake there on the money front. A million instead of a billion. They'd be quite happy with that. But no, 110 billion. It looks like it may be now, or heading towards that region or more. Well, we could see some further downside here. I'm just looking for as we run down. We've hit so many factors and that probably wiped it out. In some respects, already hit the daily pivot S1. We've seen a bounce off that sort of S1 level. Well, as I said, with the euro, it wouldn't be a complete shock to me if I saw some sort of retracements. If we do see a push up there, well, and the way pound's been holding up pretty well. If it does get a bounce, it's well, could push back towards this morning's highs at some point. It seems to be recovering quite well from any losses intraday, but we'll see how it holds up this morning in this first session. Dollar yen. Dollar yen's moved a lot less. Really indecisive sort of movement here. We never got that back to the weekly pivot yesterday. At the moment, it looks like it may want to push up towards the monthly R1. So, the volatility's dropped off quite a bit. The average true range here, you see how it's just dropped it back on the 4 hourly to 20 around about 26 pips per 4 hours. It's put a top in yesterday. Nothing really obvious here. Really, the trend is still pretty much positive. However, if it starts breaking this 34 moving average properly, breaks that trend line that's sitting across the lows of that, well, maybe we'll have a slightly bigger correction. It's already hit the daily pivot here. So then if we start seeing it break maybe the 50, S1 would be a target, maybe moving towards its weekly pivot, but at the moment it's really the bullish side seems to have it. Aussie dollar, let's just run through here. The Aussie dollar. Okay, so yesterday managed a little pip up into the back into that 200, and strong sell-off this morning already. Fouled a low there. Sorry, lower high put in rather. So failed attempts at making another high through the more recent session there. And already through the daily pivot, S1, S2. Maybe if the other currencies find some support, it may help, and we could see maybe a bigger bounce occur. And finally, the Canadian dollar. Canadian dollar's continued its the step up yesterday. It pushed on upwards. At the moment, we had a large consolidation phase yesterday, but managed to get a good surge. But well, not really doing too much at the moment. Possibility, yeah, it's already hit the daily pivot here. May continue in its route. The price of oil had been dropping yesterday, and it rose in the morning, drops back in the afternoon. Let's just have a quick look at where we are. Yeah, it really fell off yesterday, back down to 47.40. Had a bit of a bounce after that, and well, consolidating where it is now. Probably need to wait to see what happens out of that, but the Canadian dollar could be of interest later. We've got the crude inventories coming out later. That will be another signal whether we'll see a continued push on the upside here. The Canadian dollar, it's certainly got the trend in that direction. Okay, not much else here. I've already discussed the key data to come out today. As I said, construction PMI for the UK this morning, average one, ADP non-farm payrolls at 1:15, and 3 p.m. for the services PMI in the US, and then 7 p.m. for the FOMC statement and federal funds rate, which is expected to be left untouched. That's it for me. Have a great day. Bye for now.